On this episode of Why Watch That,
and gave the shield to the Falcon, Sam. And so
that leather bag.
And then first of all, why is everybody carrying the shield like they can? This is pure vibranium.
Because after the bleep, I really don't like that name. But after
the snap,
bleep,
other people called it the snap.
The
I don't know why we're calling it the bleep now. Tom Cruise to shame with his too bad he wasn't really doing all that stuff like Tom Cruise
right.
was.
Tom Cruise
in
like,
the last
wait a
Mission
minute.
Impossible. Right.
That was me. In what form is the question? La pregunta, la domanda, la question.
Okay, you're showing up.
Oh, you know, it's always the up and down with this Marvel stuff. Remember that farm scene in one of them Avengers? They went to the stupid farm, and I was sitting there going, can we get back to it? Anyway.
Why Watch That is a podcast featuring the critic
and referee who go head-to-head on a quest to discover the best movies
and TV shows Hollywood has to offer. Expect the unexpected from the critic.
Well, nothing gets past the ref.
We do all the work,
so you don't have to. Welcome to Why Watch That. This episode of Why Watch That is supported by Entrepreneur Meal Plan. It helps leaders and professionals feed their bodies and businesses well. Do you know, Critic, I got a chance to attend a wonderful event by EMP here in Los Angeles. And it was so amazing because Brandy Cochran was able to gather people from all sorts of walks of life. We were able to gather together, have real talk, and some real good food too. It was a hit.
It's food for the soul and the body, which is so hard to find. So if you want to learn more about Entrepreneur Meal Plan, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, go to entrepreneurmealplan.com.
A Why Watch That sneak peek.
Well, my goodness, we had to come out of the festivals to check in on the fact that we got a sneak peek of the new installment of the Marvel movie characters and actors moving to television, officially produced by Marvel Studios for Disney Plus.
Wow.
And of course, we're talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, we've already concluded WandaVision. And just to be clear, because there's a little bit of confusion about these installments. I'm calling them installments.
Yes.
These are not series, meaning, we're going to have a WandaVision 2, 3, unless enough people, you know how they are.
Yeah.
But this is a beginning, middle, and end for television. Now, as far as it going into the movies, I'm sure we're going to see many of these characters again. In fact, I know we are, but they are getting their own. So Falcon and the Winter Soldier, 6 episodes, beginning, middle, and end of their time on television, aka streamer, for Disney. So this comes to us, of course, by Feige, but the showrunner is Malcolm Spellman. He wrote and directed many of that stuff. So he's leading the charge in the writer's room. Carrie Skolland is the director, the only credited director that we know of. So I believe that she did all 6 of these episodes. And then, of course, we have Anthony Mackie playing Falcon. I mean, who else is going to play Sam Wilson? Boy, you can't recast that. And because it's called The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we have Sebastian Stan coming back as, I'm going to say, Bucky Barnes.
Ooh.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that in a second. And I'm sure we'll be talking about that, especially when we get to the end. So that's the way we're going to approach that. Now, we know this because of the trailer that Emily Van Camp, who played Sharon Carter, Captain America's would-be love interest if he had a love interest in modern times.
Mm-hmm.
She's coming back, and then we have an old foe from Civil War. Daniel Bruhl is coming back as Zemo. Now, some of you are like, well, hold on. Critic's going to help you. Just don't worry. He'll be back, and that's according to the trailer, along with some other surprises that we're not going to spoil. Some other familiar faces that we've seen, of course, and come to love some of these characters, as well as some like bit players.
Yeah.
A couple people here and there that you're like, whoa, I think I've seen them in the actual movie. Now, before the critic gets into the plot, I want to remind everybody that these series so far, or these installments, have been after the bleep. So they're calling it the bleep. You can call it the snap. You can call it Spider-Man, and Sony World calls it something else. So this is all happening after Infinity War and Endgame. Where do we pick up from here? Because Captain America in Endgame, this is not a spoiler. So again, if you haven't seen those movies, just move on. Like, there's no need for you to listen.
You're not listening to this.
Yeah, please just literally, no, seriously, move on. Go to our other episodes, but we are going to spoil 100% any viewing anything prior to this.
Yeah.
So we know Captain America is no longer with us. He chose to live his life, take his second chance. Well, technically third chance. I mean, he was put on ice, came back off, and then live his full life, and gave the shield to the Falcon, Sam. And so
leather bag.
And then first of all, why is everybody carrying the shield like they can? This is pure vibranium. Captain America was the strongest man on Earth, and they're just carrying it around. Anyway, I have a lot of things to say.
Maybe Tony Stark came up with something that liked it.
Course.
I have no,
because I guess this is the second version of the shield. Okay, whatever. What is going on here with this one episode, little one episode that Disney Plus gave us? Grateful, but there's some things to chew on here.
Yes, and just so you know, everybody, like the ref was saying with these installments, I think Feige came out and said if they have other seasons, they won't know until they see how it fits with the movies. So there you go with that.
They're juggling a lot. They really are. Because not only the movies, but they're also, the comic books are starting to align.
Yes.
In some cases. So that's a lot of juggling of content.
Yes. And he's trying to weave a meta narrative. That's really what's happening. So, okay. Now, and you know what? I'm fine with having just make it a miniseries. Why not? So we start with Falcon. Falcon's been called to do something that Captain America would normally do. Rescue a guy. The bad guys are loose because after the bleep, I really don't like that name, but after the
snap,
bleep,
other people called it the snap. I don't know why we're calling it the bleep now.
I don't know. Maybe they have the bleep because they come back. So it's like after the 5 years, they want to differentiate
people who have gone call it the bleep. People who were there who survived call it the snap.
I guess.
Because in the movies, sorry. And they call it the snap in the end game.
Yeah. And the snap is a better, anyway. So the bleep. So what's happened is after this 5-year disappearance, people return. It has really thrown humanity off. And there are malefactors who are taking advantage. Okay. So Falcon has got to go and rescue this guy. And this is the opening. Like the first 10 minutes is him and a huge flight sequence. Huge.
Tom Cruise to shame with his too bad he wasn't really doing all that stuff like Tom Cruise was.
Tom Cruise was like, wait a minute.
Impossible. Right.
That was me. So yes. So, but the question is, who's going to pick up the mantle of Captain America? Because does Falcon want to do that? Now, we do have Bucky. Bucky is recovering his mental health. Okay, literally. He is in therapy. He's trying to get rid of what happened with Hydra and so on. He's dealing with nightmares. Will he say that he's dealing with nightmares? And he's trying to make amends. That's one of the things that his therapist wants him to do. How? Now, as we move forward, this entity that Falcon is chasing, is going to lead to something else. Because something happens at the end of the episode where you go, this is going to be a big problem to come. And that Bucky's going to get roped in some way. We don't see that in the first episode, but we do see Captain America. In what form is the question? La pregunta, la domanda, la cuestión.
Okay, you're showing up.
Okay. So that's as much as I'll give you. Ref, here's what I have to say. I was thinking about WandaVision watching this. And what I was thinking is, WandaVision, you watch it and go, what in the world am I watching? And why am I watching it? The Falcon and the Winter Soldier from the beginning, I know exactly what I'm watching. This is what I expected. And it's good. Like, the flight sequence was good. I'm not a Falcon fan. Let me be honest. I don't really like Falcon. I do like Anthony Mackie. But in this show, I didn't mind Falcon. I thought the flight sequence was great. I even liked the little obstacles they threw in his way, which you'll see. But to me, Bucky, the Winter Soldier is one of my favorite characters that have been on film for Marvel. I'll put it that way.
100%.
So, and just when you see his scenes and they go to those flashbacks, the weight is still there from what the Russos did, which it was so key. Because I was like, ooh, you've got to continue with the movie. You can't let it down. They put money and time and energy and effort into this. So
locations.
They
went location on location.
Hey, and they got some characters popping in. That little old man, I enjoyed him a lot. And you'll see why he's in it. So it was just well thought out. And at the end of episode 1, I wanted to go to episode 2. It wasn't too much. It wasn't overdone. I was like, oh yeah, end it here so that we get excited. So if every episode is going to be like this will definitely be successful. I think it will definitely give the fans what they want. The question is the next 5 episodes, which we'll find out about. So
let me chime in because here's the thing. I agree with you. The action sequences were very good. It was it was film worthy, I would say. Even though the Winter Soldiers, I just wanted more. Here's the question. Now remember, Sam and Bucky come from the world and from the franchise of Captain America. Right. So the bad guys and things like that, it will seep into obviously this installment. So we're going to see the continuation, and literally you see it, I'm not going to tell you how, with some, continuation. Here's my biggest thing about the first episode. Good. However, the Winter Soldier is probably my favorite, up there with Civil War, of all superhero movies. It's up there. It is literally, if I have a top 3, Winter Soldier is in that top 3, 100% for me. It's hard for me to watch Bucky, and meaning Bucky, not the Winter Soldier. Bucky is Captain America 1. Got, sidekick, friend of Captain America. I don't want to hear about him doing dating apps. I don't want, because he's a great villain and sidekick eventually to Captain America. And I got lost in the middle part. So I was literally going from action to action. I didn't care about people's boats. I didn't care about
the family,
people's dating life. I didn't care about that. And I don't want to know about that. And I think we have to say this. in order for me, because it's going to be successful, it doesn't matter what anybody says. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to watch it. Everybody, because you invested 12 years into this arc, storytelling. So we're going to watch it. The question then becomes, is it going to degrade the experience of that character? For me, WandaVision, they're going to come for me. I didn't need it.
No.
I didn't need any. I mean, it was okay. Thank you. You know, it was, you know.
You experimented, is that what we want? Experiment.
Experimented. You got people employed during, that's not what I'm saying. But as far as in the story arc, I didn't need it. Yeah. And the question then becomes, I want more of Winter Soldier. I want them to do what they're going to do with Hawkeye, which is go back to that 2-year period of when he was.
He should have his own show. I mean,
Winter Soldier, and then have the guys come and consult from Gamora. Holy moly! Then you've got something happening there, and for me, Bucky, you're wonderful. Sam, you're wonderful. I'm more interested in Hawkeye and Winter Soldier than I am in Sam and Bucky. So
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I'm sorry, but what did I say?
Hawkeye.
No, well, yes, actually, I am more interested in Hawkeye. But Anthony Mackie is absolutely he is a thrill. He just lights up on the screen. We like him. The question is, will I keep watching? Yes, because it's one of my favorite performances of all time. Winter Soldier, Captain America is here. I'm here for it, but am I always plugged in? So this all comes out Friday.
Oh, it's always the up and down with this Marvel stuff. You always remember that farm scene in one of them Avengers. Don't get me started with Hawkeye. Talk about him. They went to the stupid farm, and I was sitting there going, "Can we get back to it?" Anyway. Well,
it all comes out Friday, and we can all, talk about whether we like it or not. Everything's going to light up, and I'm sure they're going to. We've already, and I'm going to tease it. I'm not going to ruin it. You will see some familiar faces, which is always nice because it feels like home. And the question is not, will you watch it? The question is, how will you feel about it as you're watching it?
Thanks for listening. For additional resources, visit WhyWatchThat.com.
Good idea, and we'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and leave comments, feedback, and you can rate us on iTunes.
We'll see you next week.
See you.